Hey everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all well, and I'm happy to see you all back to part 3 of my Europe vacation and watch shopping trip. We are now on the way through the beautiful Swiss-Italian mountains to Lugano, where we will do a cable car ride up to the top of Monte San Salvatore, which is 912 meters above sea level. A ticket to use the Funicolare and visit the museum on top of the mountain will come at an affordable $25. Inside the rail-based cable car now, the ride all the way up will take around 12 minutes and departures are every 30 minutes during summer and winter. The last funicular leaves at 11 p.m. Quite an historic ride with beautiful views over Lugano. Just don't think about the brake failure. We are now on top of Mount San Salvatore, which offers great views over Lugano, a unique perspective over Lake Ceresio, the Lombard Plain, and magnificent mountain ranges of the Swiss and Savoy Alps. A small trail goes all around the mountain top and is worth a walk. Hiking back to Lugano will take roughly 2 hours. Besides a bit of exercise, it offers amazing picture spots. On my wrist, of course, my Panerai that feels home after a long time in the UAE. On top of the mountain is a nice cozy restaurant with a beautiful terrace and quite affordable prices. Good to be out of Switzerland and finally in Italy. A few beers for us. And some chicken with fries as a main. Great taste, and I can fully recommend to have a snack here and a beer. We now arrived at our final destination and check in for the last hotel, which is the Una Hotel Gulls in Milano. It is a 4-star hotel for Italian standards, but compared to Switzerland I would give it more likely a 3 stars rating. The price per night is around $150 including the breakfast, and you will stay super close to the city center. Everything done at the hotel, time to visit the Rolex Stores. Taking the metro is super convenient for here, and with only $2 you will make it to the main spot of the city, which is the Duomo with its beautiful plaza in front. First stop at Louis Vuitton to buy a nice gift for the girlfriend. As we plan a trip together quite soon, I got her this huge keep all travel bag, and my buddy got a nice Speedy 25 for his fiancée. Gifts done, so we can now concentrate on the luxury watch stores. Second stop at the Rocca boutique that offers pre-owned Rolex watches. A pre-owned Rolex Submariner date 116610 LN in unworn condition. Unfortunately no price for this one, as it would be fully down to negotiations. Two Rolex Daytona two-tone in pre-owned but good condition. Again, no direct price given, but the sales associate told me they would sell them in the range of 22,000 US dollars. An Arabic numeral style full steel for around 7,500 US dollars, and an Arabic numerals blue dial white gold bezel for 8,500 US dollars. The GMT Master is again price on request, as well as for these two Explorer 2 models. Pretty much every single modern Rolex is priced on request over here, what I find a bit annoying. But who knows, maybe you can negotiate an awesome deal. So time to leave the store and have a look at the official Rolex stores. I'm expecting it to be a hard chase, but we will try our best as always. The first store is located inside the Galleria Vittorio Emanuele II. What a superb location, guys. In the display we have an Explorer 2 black dial, a steel Submariner date, a black Daytona steel next to a white dial two-tone, and one full gold Paul Newman dial. Also both of the new GMT Master 2 are displayed. My favorite is the Jubilee version, as it wears more comfortable and gives a bit more bling to the watch. Oyster for me belongs to the Submariner. A Sky Dweller white gold and two 1908 models, one in white and one in yellow gold. A Sea Dweller Deep Sea James Cameron, and one of the new green dial day dates that were just released this year. Inside the store a full gold bluesy, all the GMT Master 2 models, and next to it the range of Submariners. A few nice datejust pieces on display as well. All watches over here were only for display and nothing for sale except one Sky Dweller full gold. But for this model an appointment had to be made and the store was fully booked out for the next 2 weeks. So basically no chance for a tourist to buy it unless you make the appointment before your trip, what was the first learning for me. Very unlikely that someone will stay for, let's say, 3 weeks over here as a tourist and by that be able to manage the appointment. Moving on to the second Rolex store, which is about 5 to 10 minutes walk away, the Tudor store of Milan on the way. And here is the second Rolex store we will have a look at. Inside the store again, nothing for sale, and again an appointment would be needed to express an interest in any of the watches. All the beautiful watches displayed. And I tried on a Sea Dweller 43 red lettering. After a short chat, I left the store as it was pretty much the same experience as from the first boutique. Nothing can be bought or is for sale, you will need an appointment that you have to make 2 weeks in advance, and overall it would be pretty impossible to get a steel watch without a purchase history. Also local clients will be preferred. Overall a pretty disappointing experience here, as the salespeople were quite rude and annoyed by a late visit just 1 hour before closing. Compared to that, the people in the Swiss Rolex stores were a blessing. Moving on to the next stop at Gucci, buying a wallet and a belt.
No, the wallets I had were Vuitton wallets before they don't last as long as the Gucci.
And trying on this fancy jacket that was unfortunately too big for me. A pizza for dinner to end the day. Today it is time for some sightseeing and an action-packed second half of the day. We start with a city tour around the Milan Cathedral. The PAM is doing a great job with its strong 3 days power reserve and feels so nice to wear in Italy. So far no one really noticed it over here, as I thought at least people in the stores would give it some kudos to Panerai, but for now it seems like the city, as pretty much everything around the world, is pretty Rolex heavy. The tour starts at the Piazza del Duomo, which is the central main square of Milan and is essentially a product of the 19th century. In the center of the square is the monument of Victor Emmanuel II, which was placed here in 1896. From the piazza our tour continues into the Galleria, which is a 19th century shopping gallery named after Victor Emmanuel II, the unifier and king of Italy. The opening by the king took place on the 15th of September 1867. Designed by the architect Giuseppe Mengoni in 1864, the buildings are lavishly decorated with stucco, frescoes and marble. The passage consists of 2 intersecting arms, spanned by a barrel-shaped glass roof. At the intersection of the galleries is an octagonal square with a diameter of 39 meters. The glass dome above this octagon reaches a height of 47 meters. 4 large mosaics in the floor reproduce the coats of arms of the 4 Italian cities of Rome, Florence, Turin and Milan. In the gallery there are mainly elegant and high-priced luxury boutiques such as Prada, Armani, Versace, Gucci and Louis Vuitton. This Prada boutique is the oldest in the world, with the original floor still in it. I had to make a quick stop here and must say, Prada makes beautiful bags. I like this bag for the girl a lot, but since I already got the Louis Vuitton for her, I don't want to spoil her too much. For me, I like this body bag, but due to some time pressure, I must leave the purchase for another day. Let me know your opinion about body bags for men and if it would be worth it to buy a luxury one. For now, I usually prefer a backpack, but of course this would be a lot more classy to wear. Next stop at the statue of Leonardo da Vinci at the Piazza della Scala in Milan. This statue was sculpted by Pietro Magni in 1872. It shows Leonardo da Vinci on a pedestal surrounded by his 4 outstanding students. Back at the piazza, from where we can see the Martini main office building, the rooftop is very famous for parties and can be booked for your own occasions. And for the last part of the tour we visit the famous Duomo. The Milan Cathedral or Duomo di Milano is the cathedral church of Milan. Dedicated to the Nativity of Santa Maria Nascente, is the seat of the Archbishop of Milan, and this is currently Archbishop Mario Delpini. The cathedral took nearly 6 centuries to complete. Yeah, 6 centuries, what's pretty insane. So construction began in 1386 and the final details were completed in 1965. It is the largest church in the Italian Republic and the 3rd largest in the world. A candle for my grandpa, who died in 2015 and always wished while he was still alive that I will put on a candle for him when I visit the church. Underneath the Duomo, where you can still see the very old stones and old streets of the city, as by the time the city was raised quite a bit, but this is the really old part of the city. Time for lunch at a typical Italian focaccia store. The Coke and the focaccia will come somewhere around $5 only over here, and the focaccia tastes of course great. Buying a magnet for my fridge. And now we are on our way to visit the Porsche Experience Center in Franciacorta, which is about an hour away from Milan. A few very nice and rare racing cars, but we are actually here to drive a lot. So for the day we booked 4 experiences: off-road, drift, track and a fun electric kart race. Starting with a good Italian cappuccino and some snacks.
Germany, but living in Dubai.
First challenge, the drift parkour. For that we used the Taycan GTS on a round course with many corners. The car has over 500 horsepower, so it should have no issues to get the wheels spinning. The first trials are pretty difficult and I can understand now why so many people damage their cars while trying to drift. Following a specific line while drifting is super difficult, and pushing the throttle all the way down within a corner to get the back braking out is pretty intense. And I had quite a barrier inside the first few times to do it.
Five hours later.
The next part is the off-road experience, for which we used these Cayennes, driving up and down steep hills, going through deep water and driving along steep slopes are just a few highlights of this. As I own a Porsche Macan and in Dubai we have a lot of off-road driving and some quite heavy floodings often, this was a very useful class for me. I never thought I could push the Macan or Cayenne this much.
But this car, the limit of this car is...
Our instructor was super cool and loved my Panerai. On his wrist a vintage Rolex Datejust that he is wearing for the last 15 years already. And the last part of the trip here to this driving center is the track time in these nice Porsche 911 Carrera S. Unfortunately I couldn't film inside the car as I was busy driving, of course, but I guess you get the idea that this was an amazing fun. The instructor gives non-stop advice, shows you the braking points and pushes you to go all the way full speed. The car behaves super nice and felt a lot easier to drive compared to my M2. Ending this awesome day with a dinner inside the experience center. All the fine drinks are available here. Some meat tartare as a starter, followed by perfectly cooked pasta and some ice cream for the dessert. Along the dinner I had non-stop Aperol Spritz and just loved the scenic view over the racetrack. Two days Milan are over and we are now on the way to the airport, and there we will also do our final Rolex store visit. Security control done and we are at the luxury shopping part of the airport. You will find most luxury brands here except for Prada and Louis Vuitton. At the Rolex store now, a full white gold Daytona in display, a two-tone bluesy, and this full yellow gold GMT Master 2 Guinness was also over here available to have a look at. I loved the full gold more than the two-tone and was on the hunt for one for a while. But again, nothing was for sale over here, even though the sales lady was quite nice. Maybe I could have pushed a bit more and got it, but overall I wasn't in the mood to buy a watch last minute, before the flight, especially if it costs 45,000 US dollars. As the shopping overall is quite nice in Milan and prices are lower compared to the UAE, I might come back another time and try my luck again over here. Our plane is arriving, a few snacks before departure, and we are back in the air heading straight to Dubai. A week full of beautiful sceneries, great experiences, and a lot of shopping is over. The watch stores overall were rather disappointing, as still pretty much nothing is available for sale. Even models that are trading a lot lower in the second-hand market are not available, at least for tourists, and half of the stores are still behaving quite arrogant and not really welcoming at all. A few exceptions I found, but also for those stores you will require time and a few more visits to get anything offered. Not realistic as a tourist, so traveling to buy watches abroad is not really the same anymore as it was a few years ago. I still enjoyed the hunt very much and hope you did as well. And with that, we are at the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching and see you in the next one. Bye bye.